Hello everyone, my name is Rashasari, and in this video we're gonna talk about how I completed my house at the age of 27 and moved from the United States to Ghana. In this video, as you can see, the land that I bought back in 2016 was used for cassava farming, and I had an epiphany one day that led me to start construction in November 2019, and I completed a house in 2021 summer, somewhere around July. The house was completed. So essentially it took me a year and a half to build this house, and I did not have the money when I started. So I will give you guys the whole breakdown, what led me to move to Ghana, and how I was able to build this house in such a short period of time. I'm going to give you a little background on what led to me moving to Ghana and the house that I built, the whole background story. I would love to tell you guys about myself, but this video is about this house and how it all came about. I can only connect the dots looking backwards. I didn't know what I was doing, or even if it was possible, right? So I just want to share my story and hopefully inspire some of you guys to take the same action. But because the universe will conspire to your needs. If you take the first step, everything will happen. I grew up in Ghana, and I left when I was 14 years old. And I started sophomore in New York City. And you know how African parents could be pretty strict. So yeah, my father was one of those, and that made me join the Navy. Started my life right away, and because I joined the Navy, I started making money pretty early, and I started visiting Ghana quite often. My father has a friend, he's dead now, rest in peace, Mr. Kweku, but he had a huge impact on my life. He liked me a lot. He always used to give me wisdom, and like I said, moving to Ghana was not part of my thinking. I mean, it was not a thing for a young person to move to Ghana. It was just not something people talk about. Or if people were doing it, it wasn't part of my paradigm or my thinking. It wasn't part of my awareness. So I just didn't know anybody my age who was moving to Ghana, and or moving to Africa for that matter. If you're young, African in the States, working hard and try to do something back home, definitely help relatives and try to set up some sort of business, but not moving. That one was like ludicrous to me, So that was not part of my thinking at all. I was visiting Ghana. I started dabbling in a couple of things. My first venture was a pineapple farm, and I started pretty small on 2 acres. Then I bought a car for someone to do Uber with, and started acquiring land and all that. But none of this happened until my father's friend, Mr. Kweku, one day told me, I went to visit him, and he told me, Rush, you should buy a land for yourself, even if you don't plan on living in Ghana, because no matter what, you are from Ghana, and this is your real home. And it hit me. It really hit me hard. I don't know what it was, but it hit me hard, right? I went back to the States, and I told my older brother that I want to get land, and he should help me out. So he found my first plot for me in 2016, January, and I purchased it. I had no plans whatsoever as far as like the land goes. I didn't know what I was going to do on that land, but I just bought it because, like I said, my father's friend, Mr. Kweku, his words really hit me. I don't know why it hit me so hard, but I got it just for the sake of it, and I really listened. Yeah, I was 22 at that time that I purchased the land, and I had no idea what I was going to do on the land. If you have land in Ghana, people can steal it. Someone can steal it. If you're not paying attention, or if you don't have someone regularly checking on it, someone can steal it. So since I didn't have any plan for the land, what I decided to do was to give the land out for someone to farm on it. My brother's friend. Actually, it was my brother's idea, and he used it for cassava farm. As you can see in the picture, he farmed on it for I think 2 years before I had this epiphany. And the epiphany story is I visited Ghana. We were driving around and I saw one of these modern houses. I don't know exactly where we were because I did not know Ghana like that, but I think it was somewhere in continent. And the house was not just like my house, but these kind of houses. And I was captivated, right? It was like I was daydreaming. Everything slowed down. I lost track of time, and it was very strange. It's like something I've never experienced before. I was so present, and everything slowed down, and it was kind of like a spiritual. I wouldn't say awakening. I cannot put into words what happened. Um, I didn't make anything of it, but it was weird, and I did not mention this to anyone. I left it as that, and I went to the States. Yeah, so in the States, I have a friend called Matt who I work that way every morning from Monday to Saturday or Monday to Friday. Some weeks that he doesn't feel like going on Saturdays. Such a great guy. I learned so much from this guy. But basically, I had an idea that I want to build a gym in Ghana. Like that's a business that I want to do. And mind you, I went to school to become an accountant, right? I got my master's in accounting, and I'm a gym enthusiast, right? So I go to the gym all the time, and since I told him I want to build gyms in Ghana because there's not a lot of good gyms in Ghana. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I did not know much about Ghana. I was talking from what I've seen and where I'm from, which is around the Kwapim area, and there weren't that many good gyms around. So when I go there, it was really a struggle for me to work out. You got to work out with all this, concrete and all that stuff. So I felt like there was a huge opportunity. And I wasn't wrong because even in Accra, people are now putting up like big gyms like Fit Rip and all this stuff. They came, I think, a couple of months or a year after I had this conversation with my friend who said I can easily do that. And, I wanted to work for 10 years, save my own money and come do it. And he told me that wasn't necessary and you can raise money and whatnot. And since I'm in the accounting field, I started reading a lot of books on all of that, and that really, really got me thinking like, whoa, I can really do this. But I wasn't thinking about moving to Ghana. I was thinking about setting up the gym, have like one of my relatives, look over it and then visit from time to time. And what my friend said is he could help me do it, but I got to be in Ghana. And it hit me. Moved to Ghana, like, I'm young and I'm about to make a lot of money in the corporate environment and, all this crazy thinking that was going on. Yes, so when I got back to New York, I started seeing a whole bunch of houses like the one I was mesmerized by when I was in Ghana, which is these modern houses. It was like all over my YouTube without me putting anything in a search box. I have no idea what happened. It kept coming to me. And that's when my friend also brought up that I have to move to Ghana if I want to start this gym and I want funding because nobody's going to give me money to go build a gym if I'm not around. So everything started coming together. I started thinking about the whole thing. Okay, I already have land in Ghana. If I'm able to build a house on the land, then I'm really not taking any risk. So long as I save a lot of money and have residual income coming in, where I live is paid for, really have nothing to lose. If it doesn't work out, I can always go back to the States. I'm still young, so I have to build this house. If I build a house, then I'm pretty much good to go because I already have some residual income coming in. It's not much to live on in New York, but it's more than enough to live in Ghana without paying rent. So I reached out to a friend of mine, Bismarck, who's also my business partner now. We have a real estate company together. He's an architect, and he's fairly young, my age. He designed my house. He's the brain behind this. He's a great architect, and he's very truthful. So now that I have an architect, he gave me the whole breakdown of the kind of options that I have regarding building this house. I mean, I had the money to pay for design, so I paid for that, and he jumped right on it. And I did not have money to build a house yet, but I took the first step, right? And he designed the house. Everything was kind of like coming together, like I was destined to move to Ghana. but I did not have the money to build this house, and that was absolutely my prerequisite because I have a girlfriend at the time who is now my wife, and I'm not gonna let her struggle. If I'm gonna move to Ghana, I have to be smart about it. So this house has to be done. That was my must do before moving to Ghana. For me, that was the only way I was gonna feel comfortable to move to Ghana. So I give my architect 6 months to begin construction after he finished the plan. I think he finished it around June, and we started in November. So it's not really 6 months, kind of like 5 months later. I gave him 5 months to prepare, and along the way, I was planning how to do it, and I had a little bit of money with me. Mind you, this house costs a lot of money. How do I build this house? I picked 2 years plan to do it. That was the contract, and I did not have the money. The first step is I needed, I think, about $30,000 to start, and that comes with the deal that I had with him. I had to gather the money, and I gave myself 5 months, which is what I told him. From June, November, I figured I had to get the money. I got it to him, and then we started moving. And as soon as we started that, everything started unfolding. I'm an accountant, so I work for KPMG, but then the coronavirus came, and I had time on my hand to start trading stocks because I was already trading, but on a very small scale. But now COVID, and a lot of people are moving into the market, and I'm an accountant. So that's where I made all my money, and everything just came together. And building this house that looked like so gigantic to me in the beginning became kind of like, oh, I'm building a house, I have the money for it, right? And everything just came together, and I finished the house, and I finished the house in a year and a half when I was panicking when I signed that 2-year contract because I had no idea how that was going to be done. And that's how this house was built. And I'll be sharing more stories along the way, the whole journey, some stuff that I learned along the way, and what made me who I am today, my plans for Ghana, and how I'm adapting, how it's been since I've been living in Ghana. I'll have more videos coming, so keep watching, and until next time, my friend, stay safe.